Okay, welcome to Dice Coffee, where a group of nerds usually gather around on a Saturday night to give you unsolicited life advice. Today, we're going to introduce to you a classic Dungeons and Dragons stream. Oh, another on the internet. This time, it's a level 20 campaign where the players have reached the maximum potential that they could possibly reach, and now must deal with the consequences of certain actions with those powers. We are going to take this adventure in the world of Spyre, a world of my creation. The world of Spyre, once ruled by demons and devils whose blood war extended to the prime material plane, is now ruled by the humanoids and human races of the world. There are 6 continents, one of which is Lorne. Lorne is the northwestern continent, divided amongst kingdoms that are divided amongst races. You have elves, humans, dwarves, dragonborns, lizard folks, and a lot of other things in between. Somewhere down the line, there may even be some drow, who knows. We look at one particular human kingdom, one of 3, known as Azram, a kingdom ruled by guilds. There are 6 guilds in Azram who hand over land to various barons and baronesses as rewards, similar to a feudal system. We take our story to the family of House Giliath. House Giliath is a house that was once had a patriarch, former mercenary, who managed to slay a dragon with his family, and the reward, after costing both the patriarch and matriarch's life, was a frozen, barren wasteland of a keep where the fields do not grow anything, and the only commodity you have are the night wolves that come to eat whatever unsuspecting victim is foolish enough to traverse the roads to this dangerous territory. They have since named this keep as Dragonsgrave, and the skull of the white dragon slain by their father lays atop the highest tower of the castle as a warning to those who come by. You, viewers, now get to see their individual lives as we meet the remaining members of House Giliath. Maege, as you are in your desk, a young archivist knocks on your door, requesting for information as your family is to be documented for your own historical records.
I am Maege Giliath, Baroness of House Giliath, or at least what's left of us anyway. I assumed the mantle of responsibility after our parents, Elson and Mora Giliath, died some 2 years ago. As you all know, with that business with the White Dragon. The family whose claim to fame is combat with a dragon, I must admit that I don't look the part of a Giliath. My siblings' crafts vary from war to underhanded treachery to the arcane. I craft secrets. I keep them.
The archivist leaves your room, quickly makes his way to the second oldest son, knocks on the door of the Lord Commander, enters expecting your side of the story. I think our Lord Commander is frozen. No, you're muted.
No, I think I'm lacking.
We're gonna... Okay, then let's move forward first to the...
Hello, am I good?
No. Move forward first to the middle child. The middle daughter. The Arcanist...
Nigel, am I good?
Eida... No. The Arcanist Eida Arrabella Giliath. As the archivist knocks on your door, expecting your story.
My name is Eida Arrabella. Wait. I am the third child of the Giliath family. I aspire to be much like my eldest sister Maege. After the death of our parents, I have dedicated my time to study the arcane to prevent more tragedies from befalling our family. You can consider me the eye of House Giliath.
The archivist leaves and moves over to Tanya. As you are in the courtyard, the archivist approaches you very warily, expecting you to say something.
Oh, alright. My name is Tanya Frost. I am arguably the youngest in the family because I, as a Frost, am the bastard of elves and Giliaths from a servant woman. Despite that being the case, my family has been treated me and raised me as if I'm one of their own, and even though I'm not a proficient fighter like my brother, nor am I a spellcaster like my sisters, I still try to play my part as long as it's within my capabilities.
The archivist nods agreement and starts to leave. So, the Lord Commander being busy, the rest of you gather around to ensure the keep is to whatever shape it needs to be in. As you gather and kind of move around this place, you realize that your knights who have gone out for their usual supply run have managed to come back with an odd artifact. As per protocol, the knights bring it in front of the family of House Giliath as you are having your dinner. There is a knock on the door as you are enjoying a meal with yourselves. Excuse me, Baroness. On our usual runs, we have discovered something very unusual. He just kind of moves forward, presents in front of Maege as he kneels a strange-looking golden sphere. It's the size of a basketball that's made of gold with various arcane runes and differing symbols, and it seems to be in various sections like a puzzle piece in a sphere. It was buried deep beneath the snow. The wolves were toying with it. We were unsure of what it was, but we do not recognize this writing. He presents it to Maege.
Good. Can I try to read it?
You can, as the Runekeeper, you can read every language, but this does not seem to be a language, as it is more just archaic runes.
What can I make out of it?
Make an Arcana roll.
Arcana roll. Alright. That's a 24. 15 plus 9.
24. These runes are old, very much predating most magics that you know today. It's incredibly powerful magical enchantments on it, but you don't necessarily know what they're for, only that they are of unusual power and, from what you can tell, elvish magic in nature.
Okay. Not the usual trinket that you expect along the high road, especially at this time of night, don't you think?
Yes, Baroness, we are unsure of what is going on or why it was there, but we thought it best because it was in our lands to submit it to you.
Older. It's very old.
Do you want me to identify it for
Yes,
you?
please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Then I try to touch the artifact and cast identify.
As a ritual?
No,
Okay.
I'm going to use my spells now.
Okay. So, taking out this white pearl, trying to identify the magics, you realize that the magics of this item are too old and powerful, and they block your divination from peering through its very nature. This thing is of a power that is predating the mundane spells that have been created in the recent memory that you are accustomed to. It blocks off any attempts to identify, understand, or peer through it.
This artifact is too ancient. I can't even identify it. What is this item?
It's just buried in the snow.
Huh.
Yes, Baroness, it was beneath the snow. We only found it upon hunting a few direwolves for meat. They seem to have been toying with it.
And you mentioned earlier that when I tried to read it as the Runekeeper, I couldn't make anything out coherently. Is that correct?
It's not that. It's that you understand it's not a language. These are arcane symbols that are meant to signify a certain ability. That doesn't necessarily count as a language that you can read.
Right. Oh, I would imagine there are only a few people in the keep.
Yes. Your several 60 soldiers, a few hand squires, less than 100 people total.
Yeah. I need my sister. Eida?
I'm here.
Yeah. I need you to go to Celestine, cleric, and figure out if between the two of you we can understand more about it. I don't feel so inclined to go into town just yet. If it's something this bizarre that you just find in the snow, it must be there for a reason, or have been dropped by someone important. Just to see what research we can make out of it.
Also, Baroness, we, upon our return, have received a raven with a letter addressed to you.
Oh,
Kind of
Read it?
hands it to you. It has it has a seal of the Guild of War, one of the 6 guilds that rules Azram.
the war. Okay.
As you open it, it is from Bolivar Castwell, the Guildmaster for the Guild of War. It just reads, Baroness Maege Giliath, might I be able to visit you at your earliest convenience in your home? There are matters of import that I wish to discuss with you personally.
Guild of War. Tristan?
Muted.
Yes, I'm here.
What are our last dealings or communications with the Guild of War?
That would be about, for your knowledge, that is about a few months ago. They had aided you in some supply runs. The only guild that seems to be even a little bit sympathetic with your situation.
I suppose we can't be too picky with our friends given that.
Okay.
What time is it?
Yeah.
Dinner time, 6.
They...
Dinner time. Bring... Age will rub... Call the person in the keep in charge of the messenger ravens, please.
Of course, sir. Knight just leaves. Do any of you have anything to discuss while you wait?
What would the Guild of Warfare want with us now, after 2 years? Any ideas?
A few
Maybe
months.
they're asking for like additional workforce or something.
Could be.
We barely have any, too.
Also good. Also good.
The messenger kind of one of the squires of the messenger arrives with a raven. Says, "Sir, you called for a raven?"
Please. Tell the Guildmaster of the Guild of Warfare he may come by nightfall tomorrow. That should give us 24 hours to prepare for it at least.
Of course, sir.
Thank you.
Writes a message, puts on a raven, leaves. The four of you are now left to your place.
If that is the case, though, how many nights would we have theoretically
60.
spare?
You have the total of 60. So up to you how many you want to spare.
Wouldn't be too many left. You need at least 30 to 40 to guard the keep alone. Reserve of 10. That means we'd only be able to spare about 10 to go into the city. What could it be?
Assuming that's the case, though. Maybe he just
I
wants to
think
have a
we
chat.
only have enough to. We only have enough to guard our place. Maybe a few to spare. You're right. What are you planning with the spare that we have?
What are
I
you
could
saying,
ask-
Tanya?
Tanya, you were saying something.
Oh no, I was just. Maybe he doesn't need the men, maybe he just wants to chat. Hopefully that's the case. Can he really expect anything from us, seeing
I'd
that
like
we
to
barely
think that
have
was
anything?
the case. Also a good point. I'd like to think that that is the case. However, in my experience, Guildmasters seldom come all the way out here just to chat, so I'm afraid it's not that. Given that being the case, we do have 24 hours to prepare. So I suppose that means that we do need to get knights ready, have some sort of small feast going.
Just a point of order, the Guild of Warfare has, well, not visited personally, has sent a few guys your way for aid before, over the times that you needed it. So he's been on a good term, the only one who's been on good terms with you. Not a man you need a prayer feast for. Simple meeting is enough.
Right, wine will do then. What else can we do in our spare time? Eida, I suppose between now and tomorrow that would be a good time to meet with the Giliath cleric and see what else can be done. If we can find anything more about this artifact. Suppose until then, mention it to no one.
I was planning
Sorry?
on the orb, or yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the orb?
With you.
Okay,
With you.
I'm going to take out the orb again and focus on it, and I'm going to legend lore.
Legend lore. Sec. Uses, what is that, a 5th level slot, I think? Brief summary of significant lore about the thing that you have named. If your thing you named isn't of legendary importance, you gain no information. Turn might react. Name or describe an object. Okay. You cast 10 minutes, take about 250 gold of incense. Put out, you guys see your sister put out some ivory strips, burn some incense, and begin to cast legend lore for the next 10 minutes. You are given a little bit of information. You still feel that the magic is being blocked in some way. However, you are aware that this item is before the reckoning. It is before the event that has been come to know as the reckoning, when the gods were kicked out of this world and no longer allowed to intervene directly through in mortal affairs. It predates that. It is elvish in nature, belonging, oddly enough, to the Wood Elves, where in past the High Elves would be known for their magics and arcane prowess. This particular item seems to have been made by the Wood Elves. And it seems to be something of a holy relic, or rather something of great power to them. Depending on which Wood Elf clan or settlement you go into, this belongs to them.
This is interesting. The Wood Elves
Found across the
Elves
border.
made this.
Wood
And
elves.
it's a holy, yeah, and it's a holy relic. And it's made before the reckoning.
Pre-reckoning
include
wood elf holy relic found across the border along the high road to Azram, deep into the capital. What does that mean? What does that mean? Suppose it makes no difference until you can get more questions for us to wait up, because between you and me, as lord keepers of the family, if you're having a hard time trying to figure it out, I'm not gonna fare much better either. I suppose while you take that to the cleric, might as well get some work done. Call a squire.
One of them comes in on command. Yes, sir. Ma'am? Ma'am?
Given that we have 24 hours before the arrival of the Guildmaster of Warfare,
Mm-hmm.
bring me the archivist in charge of the keep's ledgers.
Of course.
We might as well get a little bit of work in order.
Of course. Bows, runs. In about 5 minutes, Marcus Bane, the archivist of your family, comes in, kind of slicked back hair in his traditional black kind of leather robes, walking in. You called for me, Baroness.
Lord Bane, what is the current status of the family's coffer?
It is still depleting, Baroness. You are at this rate going to last for possibly a year if we divide it properly. Without any source of sustainable income, this will be gone in the year at this rate.
What are our sources of income now?
There's the wine business of your family that is still ongoing. That is the primary source. The small lands that are left for rent by your late father under your name now is also generating some income, but the cost of keeping men and other people alive in this fortress in this kind of condition is heavily outweighing whatever money those things are able to make.
If father were still alive, I never liked doing the admin work. Tristan?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, my dear sister.
Do we have any reports about the status of the outlaws and the bandits across our lands? Lord Bane, before my brother answers that question, how many towns or villages we currently have that are paying taxes?
Currently, Baroness, there is only one town that is already barely surviving. We are taxing them the fair rate that is expected. If you wish for me to raise taxes, I would assume that they are not going to live there for very long. Conditions are harsh enough. One more push on there and they will leave.
That's a good job for the Lord Commander.
The rest of the lands, however, are barren and unlivable at best.
What are the usual bandits and bands of outlaws that plague our lands?
The bandits have become less and less frequent. They have been falling rather efficiently We have trained soldiers to become accustomed to this terrain, as the bandits are not. We have actually found some money in slaying bandits. That is one positive. Some of them carry mundane items that we can sell off. Some of them carry gold, surprisingly. However, even that source of income has been limited given that the bandits themselves are no longer willing to traverse these lands to take anything. Especially after all the littered, frozen corpses along the road to Dragonsgrave, Baroness. The warning has served its purpose.
Real estate values will take a hit with all those frozen corpses lying about. Do we have any news in the current status of the town? How are living conditions? Our serfs' living conditions?
May I speak frankly, Baroness?
May speak freely, Lord Vane.
The town is still as it was. The nobility is rich and powerful, and the poor are starving in the dead of winter. The food is not enough. However, from the looks of it, it is enough because only the nobles care about who gets to eat, and all they care about is they get to eat. The poor are disgruntled, annoyed. There have been news of some peasant revolts that have been happening across the farmlands of Azram, quickly quelled by a blade, and anyone who speaks outwards against the guild is quickly slain. The people, the poor, are ruled through fear.
Okay. I need Tanya.
Yeah,
I need her for something.
I'm here.
How long would it take before you could go into the nearby village? Nothing much. Not much work. I just need you to check how our charges are doing.
Alright. I can do that.
Very
Within the day.
quick. In the day.
Yep. They'll be back pretty late at night, but yes.
It's fine. Presumably in time for when the Guildmaster for Warfare comes by tomorrow evening.
Definitely.
Alright. So that Tristan can go with you too. I know you're more than capable. You have come a long way from the Frost you used to be when you were first adopted into the family, but you're still a child, and I would feel much safer if you brought some muscle with you.
I
To
am
understand.
capable on my own, sister.
I'll just
Right.
escort you to the town, don't worry.
I'll never grow up if you keep pampering, but fine.
Thank you. Thanks. That leaves me Eida. That's Tristan. That's Tanya. All right. I suppose the only thing that's left for me is to put the rest of the house ledgers in order until tomorrow. All right. I miss mom and dad. All right.
Baroness, if I may, you need not worry about organizing the ledgers. If you wish to read the reports, I have them all ready for you in scrolls. I figured that you would be too busy to do such tedious administration work, and it is my job as archivist.
Thank you, Lord Bane. If that's going to be the case, I do have one question for you.
Of course.
You mentioned earlier that we have been making some money off of leasing our lands from bandits.
Yes.
What would you say to my little idea of perhaps we have about 60 knights, about 40 required to guard the keep 10 in reserve, personal guard to the family. How many more abled men and women would you say we have?
Including those who are not trained in warfare, Baroness.
Including those who are not trained in warfare yet. That is correct, Lord Bane.
Including the other 10 knights that we have that we can spare. Plus all the other workers that we do not require for the day-to-day operations of the keep. That brings us to about 22 people.
22 people. What would you say, Lord Bane, to my proposal of renting out security and guard services into the city?
I would say the guilds would likely heavily frown upon such activities. However, I do have one possible, if not blasphemous, alternative.
Have my attention.
There have been a number of wood elves that we have shot arrows at as warning shots, but never killed. They have been looking for aid or something, and they have offered gold. This was just about 3 fortnights ago. We can't hear them out. They are desperate, but they are rather wealthy. The kingdom. Perhaps if the price is right, we may lend them some arms, and they may pay us for whatever mundane tasks these elves require. If you are, of course, Baroness, willing to converse with these creatures.
Guilds, however, Lord Bane, would have my head if they found out that you were working with wood elves, wouldn't they?
The guilds would indeed have your head if they found out you were working with wood elves on the other side of the border that they have no access to unless they go through this fortress. Yes, that would be unfortunate if they had some way of finding that out. Of course, you also cannot be blamed should some of the knights decide that they wish to serve their baroness in such a manner that aids in their coffers by taking on side jobs. We do not judge on people's activities beyond their shift.
I suppose you are right. We cannot fault our knights for their own goodwill of their own volition, now can we?
Neither can we fault them for protecting the archivist of the House Giliath should he choose to take a stroll northward and happen to encounter some elves who are unarmed and wish to talk. A conversation is not illegal.
How old are you, Lord Bane?
I am
Seems
in
like
my
you've been
40s.
serving my family for ages. 40s, Lord Bane. I'm only 28, but maybe at your advanced age, Lord Bane, it would do an older man such as yourself to stretch your legs a bit, maybe, North?
Yes, my knees are not as they once were when I was younger. Perhaps some exercise would do me some good. I would of course require at least 10 knights to protect me. I am not skilled in combat, as all of you are. Some protection.
Oh, yes! I suppose we do have 10 knights to spare, don't we, Tristan? It's only 10 knights, so we'll still have 50 more.
Yeah, yes we do. That would be easy for us.
You are too kind, Lord Commander. I shall assure that I am able to traverse early in the morning before the sun rises to avoid any kind of cancerous problems. And should I encounter any people along the way, I don't suppose it was illegal to have a conversation with people on a morning stroll. We'll be back long before the Guildmaster arrives.
Do it, Lord Bane. I'll see you at sundown tomorrow.
Oh, Spareness. Bows. He takes his leave if there's nothing else.
Alright.
Clarification, does Tanya leave tonight and come back early in the morning? Or does she leave early in the morning and come back late in the afternoon?
The request from Maege is that she leaves tonight.
Well, I have a right to prepare too. Would that be all, sister?
That'll be all, Tanya. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, and take care of yourself, please.
I will.
Okay.
I do have a question. Do you want me as Danya to go there, or
well, While I'm escorting Tanya, do you want me to check our...
The question
Yes.
is, do you want Tanya to show up as Tanya or morph her form?
I would prefer, dearest sister, that no one knew you were there.
No one will know.
One will know. You.
Okay.
We need to know if there are any leads on the disposition of our charges, their mood, are they getting enough to eat, are they having enough water, are there any rumors of unrest that we may have to deal with immediately. We will have to do something about that.
Basically, the environment then.
Yes. You couldn't have put it better, yes. I suppose that is
Alright.
the gist of what I am asking you to do. Right. You. Please take care of yourself, please. It's cold out there. It's a cold night.
Yes, I'll bundle up and make sure that I'm warm while I'm traveling. I'll take my bow with me
Okay.
if it's alright.
Tanya leaves with Tristan on horseback. So, Eida, do you bring the item to the cleric Celestine?
Yeah.
She is tending to some of the injured who have encountered some dire wolves, unfortunately. As she works on this, kind of healing people, she notices you. My lady, what can I
Hi.
do for you?
Well, I have this item and I need your help.
Oh,
Couldn't even try to identify it, but I couldn't even see the origin of it. I only knew that the wood elves made this before the reckoning, and I needed more information about it. Can you help me?
the wood elves, my lady.
Mhm.
That's unusual. They're not known for magical items. Might I call Rosanna and work on this for the night? Perhaps you could come by tomorrow morning if we find something. That'd be acceptable. Thank you, lady. I shall call Rosanna and we will see what we can do about this. Starts moving parts of the orb. Well,
Oh.
it appears this thing has some sort of mechanism inside it.
Is it even safe?
I suppose that's what we will find out.
Hmm.
Rosanna and I will use the bunker to keep safe. We will go to you in the morning to discuss this. Do you? Lady, I am not as proficient as you or Rosanna in the arcane, but what do you make of this? As she moves some pieces, she shows you what was previously what Maege was seeing was a variety of smaller runes. It seems like moving these pieces together makes one big rune. Just shows it to you. Make me an Arcana roll.
$29.
29.
Huh.
Okay. That rune is old. That rune is no longer used because the magic required to use it, people are not aware of anymore. It's kind of lost to time. It is not belonging to a specific race, which is odd because most races who practice Arcana have their own distinct way of doing it, and varying runes are dependent on the race using it. But this one is one of the more older, and it's one of the older and more ancient runes that do not have a race attached to it. The primary users of these types of runes were changelings. The purpose of the rune is lost to time. That is not in any history book or any kind of lore, but the drawing of the runes is something that you recognize from deep research into the arcane. The changelings would use racially tied runes in order to keep it secret as to who actually owned it, until the fall of the changeling kingdom and their near extinction as a race had led to some of these secrets to come out. But the purpose of the runes was never clear to anyone in the books, just that they owned this sort of runic writing of arcane.
Those runes... Changeling?
Change.
I thought they're...
Near extinct. They're near extinct. There's still a few of them running around.
I mean... I tried to look on its legend lore, and it showed me that the wood elves made it. And why changeling? That's weird.
Well, milady, the changeling kingdom was destroyed a little bit before the reckoning, and if I recall correctly, it was the high elves who eliminated their kingdom. Now, just because the changelings created these runic languages does not mean it is not accessible to other races who learn it. Perhaps the wood elves had gotten across to some of the ancient scriptures that were thought to be destroyed.
That makes sense.
I will consult with Rosanna. We shall see what we can do about this, and we will inform you in the morning.
Thank you.
Lady, he just takes the orb, starts moving.
Mhm.
So, what do you? Sorry, Mage, do you do anything for the rest of the night?
Right now, no. Maybe just gonna chill the fuck out.
All right.
Beauty care regimen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Well, Tanya will ride with the Lord Commander on the way to your nearby village, your one and only nearby village. Aptly named Frost Garden.
Lost guard.
On the way there, it's about a 2-hour ride from your fort, and you are both in horseback. Well, I suppose you don't need to be in horseback. You guys can travel in a cart, and some knights, a knight or two, will ride the cart for you. You are in the cart. Tanya, anything you need to prepare or do, or make sure that you're aware of?
I'm just going to prepare. I'm going to put my actual bow inside my bag, and then I'm gonna prepare a regular bow on me.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I'm going to morph into someone completely inconspicuous, someone not eye-catching,
Villager-like?
villager-like, approachable, but not exactly intimidating.
Armorless?
Looks like I'm not wearing armor.
Right. Glamour lever. So you morph into a forgettable face of a villager. The glamour weave on your lever begins to look like a simple tunic. And you wear a tunic on top of it. You are traversing the road from Dragonsgrave going to Frost Garden. Along the way, you find the Lord Commander's handiwork of various bodies littered in the snow, frozen, barely rotting despite it having been several years or months, depending on which body. Because of the frigid cold, the bodies seem to be perfectly preserved as a warning to anyone who comes by. Also not very appealing to villagers who might want to live here. Not that anyone would want to live in a frozen wasteland.
I'm actually surprised none of the animals are eating them.
Animals don't eat icicles.
Well, they're fresh.
So, as you're traversing the lands, it's there are a few bandits that arrive that automatically see the sigil and just walk the hell out, not even trying. Commander's having internet problems, so anything you need to talk to him about? Will I control him?
Well, it's been a while since I last visited Frost Garden. Do you remember anything in that place?
Yes, sister. Frost Garden is full of happier people, who not happy, but happier than most of the other villages around Azram. At least we don't treat them like dirt around here. However, there's a limit to our generosity, as we need to get our taxes even though they can't really do anything for, well, money. I'm not sure how happy they would be about this situation, to be honest.
So we're definitely all stuck in the same boat then.
Yes, but we are still better off, fortunately.
Yeah, 1 year. Oof.
2, I believe. We've been banished to this frozen hellhole.
Yes, but we only have 1 more year left. Unless we come up with something.
True.
I fucking hate those guilds.
Well, our parents hated them too, and this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
on the way. On the way there, Frost Garden. After the 2-hour journey, late at night, most people would not even dare to traverse these roads at this hour. But you are heavily defended and well capable of handling this. You arrive into Frost Garden where the people who are just preparing to sleep and go to their houses and homes, lying there, see that House Giliath's banner arrives. As such, these people just move out of their houses and start bowing. The knights stop the cart, open the door to reveal the Lord Commander and you, Tanya. So, Tristan just looks at you. Tanya, just gather the information from the view of the villagers. I'll try to talk to the leaders here, see what I can find out. But I'm sure that the villagers will have an unfiltered opinion if one of their own is the one who's asking.
I know. Alright then, later.
Moves. You kind of wait for him to leave, and people stop looking before you leave the cart. The villager. Around here, what you would see are various families, children. They feel safe. They're not necessarily too worried about the outland creatures. Some of your knights are rotating, about 2 or 3 knights per shift kind of rotate around here. So they are protected. Various people are just moving about, and you find a number of people you can talk to. Who would you like to start with?
I'll start. Do I see a group of women just gathering or chattering?
A group of women, no. A woman alone, yes.
I guess I'll approach the woman.
Okay. She's just kind of in a large fur coat, trying to keep warm, looking around at everything, and just about to go back to her house until you approach. Say, what do you say to her?
Hey, good good evening. Oh god, it's so cold out here.
Oh,
Oof.
g- mm, yes, good evening. I know I haven't seen you in this village before.
Yeah, actually, I was I was traveling and I got up. It's. Do you happen to know if there's a place I can stay here?
Make a
That
deception check
keeps
for me.
Oh shit.
Reliable talent means you can only
Decep-
get a 10.
36.
26? 36.
36.
Nope, there's no absolutely no way she's beating that. She just of course, please come in. Just opens her house. Here, come in.
Thank you.
She sparks up some fire with 2 stones. It lights up a fireplace. Please stay here. Keep warm.
Thank you. Oh god. Oh, it's so freezing outside.
Are
How
you?
do you guys manage living here?
No, we don't. To be honest, we're surviving. That's pretty much it. It kind of feels like all of us are just waiting to die here. But to be honest, it's either this
Sounds
or
horrible.
well, to be honest, it's either this or we go to one of the other villages near to the capital and get killed by a sword. So at least here we have a chance.
Yeah, the capital sounds like shit. That's why I didn't even try to go there. Oof, I was lucky enough to stumble into here, but apparently the situation isn't that good for you guys either.
No, not really. Oh, I'm sorry. Just hands you a hot cup of water and says, "Well, my manners.
Oh,
My name is Davina."
Davina, oh, you're such a sweetheart. I'm Kayla.
Kayla, nice to meet you. Are you a traveler? How did you find yourself this far into the woods? Nobody goes here.
I was traveling with a group. I got separated. I was looking for food and oh, God, I just saw some lights and I thought, finally a place to stay in. But I was lucky enough to stumble into your group.
Oh dear. You must have been. Yeah, you must have been quite must have been quite a ways away to get all the way here. Do you come from Azram? From this region?
I have, yeah. It's just
Trying
things
to get
aren't
away?
exactly going. Hmm.
I didn't know that.
No place in this region is decent enough to stay in.
I came from Snow Lake, I did. But you
Yeah.
know, they killed my family and I had to leave. Ran away. This was the only place that would take me in.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
How it is around here. You speak up, you die. That's how they do it.
Yeah. What do you call this place, though? It's the first time I've been here.
Yeah? Oh, called Frost Garden. That's the only thing that grows here is frost.
That's oddly appropriate.
I
How
mean,
long have
there's
you been staying here?
a better part of about 6 months. There's a lake nearby. Not that it's of any use, I mean, it's frozen, but some people like to slide off of it. They kind of put these weird shoes on and put a little bit of metal on it and then start sliding across. It's a hobby, I guess.
That's actually interesting. I've yet to see anything like that.
Hmm.
6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get your food around here? I could barely find anything to eat on my way here.
We find what we can. Some of the owlbears that are sleeping for the winter. Some of the dire wolves that come by. There are no shortage of creatures that live in the frost. None of them good, but you make do with what you have.
Mhm.
We've got a druid. Came by about a year ago. He started helping out by making vegetables flourish, and well, they're more delicious than direwolf.
How can he grow plants in this
No,
environment?
it's his druidic kind of magics. It's just kind of gets a bunch of seeds. He just buys the seeds and then he just makes them bloom. But we have to eat them quickly, otherwise they're just gonna die. But you know, whenever we need food, he's always there to make it for us. And he's been he's been instrumental in keeping us alive. However, his magic has limits too. I mean, all he can make are tasteless vegetables, but they're still food and don't really have a source of protein. He has an ability to create food every now and then, but you know, it's still also limited. But we divide it as much as we can. We do what we can with it.
He sounds like an amazing person,
He's a nice
helping a
guy.
whole village.
He's a nice guy. Stayed here for a while. He's a nice guy. Been here for about 2 or 3 months, I think. Around that time.
And I'm wondering, I've met a few druids before, I might know him. What's his name?
He's I think the name he gave was Alden.
Alden.
That's all we got out of him. Says he was a drifter, kind of moving from place to place.
Did he take a liking to Frost Garden long enough to stay here for months?
I think so. He didn't seem to have a problem with the place. Well, no, that's not entirely true. He did have a problem with the place. It's just, you know, he wanted to help, and we weren't exactly in a position not to accept. So, went with it.
I see. I wonder if he's still awake. I might be able to lend him assistance since he's making an effort to help the village after all. The least I can do is offer some gold, I suppose.
Oh dear. Barely anyone has a gold piece left here. I mean, we understand the taxes here are cheaper than most other lands, but even that we can't afford in a place like this. I could introduce you to him. You want to meet him? You don't mind heading back in the cold, that is?
Would you mind if I take the glass with me? I mean, it's already cold, but it's more than that. It's better than nothing.
Of course.
Thank you.
Puts a coat on. Gives you a coat as well. You guys leave and walk. You see Tristan talking to some of the more senior members of the town. As you walk, you are in front of a man in a large kind of fur coat, looks like owlbear, and leather gloves. They're not necessarily good clothes. They look like tattered tunics layered on top of each other to keep him warm, and a bonfire that he's created. And you just catch him lighting up a bonfire. And
That's impressive.
Oh, right, I know. As Davina kind of approaches, you hear the man saying, "Gather round, children, gather round. Keep yourselves warm until your parents come back with the firewood. This will have to suffice for you. Yes, come on, keep close to the fire. Do not touch it. Do not get burned." Excuse me, Mr. Alden? Davina, it's just Alden. Right. This is my friend Kayla. She just wanted to meet you and kind of thank you for everything you're doing. Usual, but alright. Suppose you're welcome, though I don't think I've seen you here.
I just got here. Unfortunate circumstances. Can I...
Of course, please. The fire's for everyone. Fire's for everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. So, Kayla, did you just come here to thank me? Is there something you wanted to know?
I was actually wondering, Davina told me that you can, well, temporarily establish vegetation in this kind of environment. I was curious about it.
Yes, provided you can give me a seed, I can make it bloom. One of the gifts of nature that have been granted to me. I try to help the people out here as much as I can.
I see. Looks like the people here are, well, a lot would rather stay here than go to the capital. Is that why you're here too?
No, to be honest with you, I am a nomad, as they would put it. I have been traveling most of my life. 2 months has been the longest I've stayed in any one place. But this place clearly needs help. But there's also some business I must attend to, not involving the kingdoms or anything, but just personal business for, let's call it, religious purposes. I'm sure boring things to people. You don't have to concern yourselves.
Well, I am up for a tale. I'll be staying here for the night. I don't think it's safe to travel out in the dark.
Make a persuasion check. Or I want to say deception because the reason you're listening to isn't exactly that, so let's call it deception.
Don't bother, I got a natural 20.
Just kind of looks at the bonfire. Sit down.
Oh, thank you.
I am granted my powers by the All-Mother, Elise, goddess of wildlife. I am blessed by these abilities. I have been traveling for most of my life because of a vision that I had been given, but this vision, I must admit, I have not understood in recent memory until I've come across this place, and visions change, the dreams change, and circumstances have become anew. I am uncertain as to where the path leads, but I am aware that it is somewhere here. So I stay here until I get something new to come to me.
I see.
Hmm.
And there are no hints of what is coming after you then? Just
Oh,
visions?
nothing coming after me, just visions of where I need to be. The gods have been very cryptic. Damn reckoning. I've read stories of how the gods used to be directly involved with their chosens, but now it's just cryptic messages and dreams. One word replies. Very annoying.
Very misleading too, I guess.
Some might say that, yes.
Although I'm sure this town very much appreciates your presence here.
I try to help where I can. These people require great assistance from the looks of it, and I try to provide, but they will need more than my simple tricks if they are to survive any longer. These people are not going to make it for much longer, based on my assessment. I try to extend that lifespan, but...
Yeah. How many months or years do you think?
A few months. 4 at best.
See.
If they don't leave, they will die from the frostbite. I would assume that they could just go to another city, but based on the stories, they would die by a blade if they were to, and that is not an more agreeable option.
Yeah. Life up in the north is very cruel.
That it is. Well, I must get going. Rest calls. Lots to do tomorrow. Good evening, Miss, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
Kayla.
Kayla. Miss Kayla. Good evening. Good evening. I must get some sleep.
Is there a way for... I suppose... I was wondering if there's a way to know if you're about to leave. This town seems...
Rather difficult, considering I don't even know when I'm supposed to leave. Apologies.
Yeah. That's fair.
You require fresh
But
vegetables
thank
or
you.
fire? Let me know.
Thank you, you're very sweet. I'll just stay here for a bit longer.
As he moves away, you see him start to chant. Sit in the snow and just chant. 10 minutes later, if you keep watch on him, a dome of white just appears. And he just stays in there.
Just gonna look if there's anyone else around.
Just a bunch of people. Around the fire, there's some children.
To summarize the information that I have, 4 months, barely any food. Their source of water is just basically gathering the frost and then melting it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Occasionally destroying the surface of the lake to get some water there, but the surface is grown to about nearly a foot thick.
Mm-hmm. Wildlife isn't proving any better. Surroundings. People are obviously depressed. Okay, I think I'm good with now.
Wildlife
That's
is
what I have for now.
Wildlife is fine, just that the meat is horrible. Hard to stomach. Okay. Tristan gathers
Food is food.
the rest of his information. And you guys make your way back to Dragonsgrave. On the way back, Tristan just looks at you. Did you find out anything, dear sister?
Yeah, nothing encouraging, but if I'm being optimistic, at the very least, someone's helping them.
The
But
druid.
it won't be there permanently.
He's an odd man, but he seems to be doing good. According to the
Yes.
leaders, he also helps out with the taxes. Apparently, he
I was
pays for
wondering
most, which is odd
Oh.
given how much money he carries.
Son of a bitch, I forgot to give him gold. Fuck. Wait, how much gold he carries?
Well, the town leaders say he pays for half the taxes of the town whenever we collect on a monthly basis. Very odd.
Ah, shit. I never got to ask how he got. Do they know where he gets his gold?
Some of them mentioned that he's a traveler doing work for hire, similar to a mercenary, but he chooses his work. Some other wealthier villages apparently had paid him for his services, too.
Snap. I never really got to ask more about that. I just know that he's doing this for a deity.
Deity. Not many religious types left.
It's arguable, but
Are you going to a temple anytime soon, sister?
No.
My point exactly.
I'll consider it, but not right. I mean, if the gods are there and they threw us in this barren land, well, technically it's not the gods, it's the guilds, and they're a bunch of assholes, so.
True. Let's get going.
That's fine. If I need more information, I can just write to Davina. Sweet, she's such a sweet girl.
Vina. You made a friend.
Made a friend.
That's so unlike you.
I have many friends with many different faces, brother.
Friend is not the word for what you do. But sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Oh, shut up. I have appearances to keep.
Several.
Several, yeah.
You traverse through the night, the cold, cold night. You make it back to Dragonsgrave right around midnight. About 2 hours
I'm
going
so
there.
exhausted.
About 3 hours maybe to gather information, another 2 hours to get back. You arrive back at Dragonsgrave. Maege, anything you need to do for tonight, or do we leave it for tomorrow?
Do I catch Tanya and Tristan coming back?
If you stay up until midnight, you will.
I am, yeah.
Okay, then you will find them coming back.
Ah, dearest sister, dearest brother. How was it?
Depressing?
Very.
See, it's not much different there. Anything interesting that we were able to learn?
Apparently, there's a druid staying there and helping them. And according to his estimates, they only have, if they're being optimistic, 4 months left until
Frostbite
everything goes sideways.
or death, starvation, whichever comes first, really.
Yep.
That's a problem. 4 months.
Yeah.
That means if in 4 months we can't do anything about the living standards in Frost Garden, was it?
Yes.
We won't be nobles of anything. Oh, look at you. Both of you should take a warm bath. I'll go talk to Lord Bane and see what I can do. What did you mention the name of that druid was?
Alden?
Alden.
Nice guy.
Seems like he doesn't really know what he's doing around here. Seems to be going on the whim of a goddess, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
That makes two of us, sadly.
I didn't
That
take
makes
you
him
for the
a me.
religious type, dear sister.
Yeah.
I pray
Or are
to
you
whatever,
pretending about not knowing what to do?
I pray to whatever gods would help us now, and that. Oh, Alden. Let's see if I can reach out to him. You both need to take a cold shower before you come down with a cold and get everyone in this keep sick. I'll go talk to Lord Bane and see what can be done.
Warm shower.
Warm shower.
Warm shower.
Yeah.
Right.
Do that.
You call for Bane? Okay. Squire kind of goes up to him. It takes about 10 minutes for him to get from his tower to you. Says, Baroness, you have called for me.
Yes, Lord Bane. I realize it's late in the hour, however, there's a bit of a conundrum I have for you.
As
It
always.
appears that conundrums never seem to be in short supply. Short on wine, short on money, short on heat, never short on problems. Anyway, it has come to my attention that there is a druid living in Frost Garden by the name of Olden, as Tanya shared when I sent her there earlier this evening.
Druid. I've not been to Frostguard in quite some time. Taxes are normally collected by the knights. They did make mention of someone aiding them, but they said in passing. Is there anything you'd like to be done or known about this?
If you were the liege of a small village, Lord Bane, would such things alarm you? Your experience.
My experience, Baroness, is that kindness does not come freely. There is always a reason for activities, and although that has been wrong a few times, those are merely exceptions to the rule. Especially in a region like Azram, kindness is not free. I would assume that there's a reason for him to be doing all of this, and whether or not that warrants any form of aggression or suspicion is up for debate, but it might be worth knowing what exactly he's doing here, more than what he is willing to share to strangers.
I wonder. Oh, my sister, Eida. I need her help for this.
Of course. Just takes his leave, knocks on your door, Eida, which it's midnight, so you'd probably be asleep. Just knocks.
Oh, what is it?
Honest Eida, your sister calls for you.
What? I need beauty sleep. Alright. I'm going.
I apologize, my lady. I am merely a servant.
And then I go straight to
You,
Regis.
Eida just walks down the hall in a nightgown, just kind of groggily moves into your office.
What is it? What is it now, Mage? What do you want?
I'm just talking to my sister, all sparkly and bubbly in the middle of the night. Good evening. I need your help, dearest sister. It would appear.
What is it?
I realize it's late in the hour, but I need your help for something. I'll cut straight to the chase. There's a druid in Frost Garden. I don't really know why he's here, but I was wondering if you could perhaps help me. Is there any way you can help me know more about this man first before I invite him here? I sent Tanya out again, but she's a little girl. I don't want to send her back out there again mid-bath.
Do you know his appearance? Is he cute?
Tanya
What's
can
the color of his hair?
Tanya
What-
can mimic his appearance, if that matters.
If you know his appearance and you can describe me what he looks like, I can scry on him.
Eida, dearest sister of mine, have you ever met a druid who didn't smell like dirt? Or some form of animal fur?
No, I haven't.
I'm just saying. There you go.
There must be
Probably not.
some level of offense in this. Vane just remarks.
Perhaps.
Perhaps Tanya,
I mean-
the Lord Commander, can aid you with the description. They were there to see him. Shall I call for them?
Yes.
Please.
Of course.
Yes, Lord Bane. And if they try to argue their mid-bath, tell them they can continue after we're done here.
Of course, Baroness. Tanya, in one of the private bathhouses, there's a knock.
I'm expecting.
Milady,
What?
the Baroness
What?
calls for your...
For the
Arrival.
love of God, I just got.
I apologize. The Baroness's specific words were, should you be in mid-bath, that you may continue after she is done speaking with you.
I still have soap on my hair. Does she want me to go to her room with soap in my hair? You know what? I'll do
I-
it. She asked for it. I'm doing it. I'm
Am
going
I-
to wrap myself up.
Was I to answer that question? Never mind.
No, it's fine. Thank
You
you.
open, take one of the fur robes with shampoo in your hair, kind of moving down the hall with the knights just not looking at you, obviously in a murderous mood. As you kind of move through. Baroness, your sister? And Tanya comes
Thank
in
you,
a
Lord Bane.
robe with
Tanya,
shampoo.
good evening. Oh, can you just stay there by the corner? There's soap in your hair. Just don't.
I'm gonna roll
my
in
bad.
your carpet, Mage. Why would you ask me to go here? What kind of emergency warrants this kind of attention?
I just need you for about 10 seconds. I just need you to describe to Eida
I'm gonna
what
kill
this
you.
old and character looks like. It's no way to talk to your older sister. But okay.
I love you, but I'm still gonna kill you. Like, just
It's out.
I'm gonna shoo the guy away. Shoo the
Vane just leaves, and it's just the three of you.
Without touching any of the upholstery in my room, just try to describe.
I'm gonna roll
What the druid
on your
looks like.
carpet, Mage.
Fine, if it must be done.
Tanya?
That's fine. What do you want? Again, starting to
Describe
get itchy.
to Eida what the druid looks like. Oh, you're itchy.
Describe. I'm gonna morph into him.
You see a shampooed version of a rather handsome, probably late 30s man.
Oh my god, he's handsome! I'm going to get my paper and list down one of my
For the
potential
love of
partners.
God.
There has to be there has to be some tradition where the eldest gets married first.
Aw,
My head.
Can I go back to my shower now?
Eida,
oh.
can you go
Huh?
back to the shower now?
Mm-mm. Yeah, I should scry on him. I should
Thank
try
you.
scrying on him.
Thank you, Tanya. You may go back to your bath now, yes.
You know,
Thank
like there are
you.
curtains here. I'm just going to like drag my hands on them, just leave a bit of soap on them. Just you're
Ah!
welcome. Then I'm going
Oh,
to leave the room and go back to shower.
I'm going
We
to
can
use
be
prestidigitation on Maege
we can be
first.
civilized nobles without being bitches, but thank you. You may go back to the shower.
I'm
Ah!
doing this because I love you and I make sure no one's looking when I do it. Then I'm going to go back to the shower room.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So,
I'm going to scry on
all right,
the
Eida,
handsome
where's your magic?
druid.
okay. You cast Scry on a person you've seen his face. You
Mhm.
focus a bit on the spell, kind of just focusing on the appearance that Tanya had given you. For 10 minutes, you sit there chanting, almost to Mage's boredom. You're just chanting your spells.
Yeah.
Eventually, you manage to scry not on him because he is under the effect of Tiny Hut, which blocks magical effects.
Oh.
But you scry outside of the hut, and it's able to at least peer through, as he has not made an attempt to make the hut invisible, so that he's visible to everyone around. Sorry, he's not made an attempt to make the hut solid colored. So he is visible on the inside, and you can see from the outside. And what are you hoping to attain? You see him, you see the people going to their beds, everyone's asleep. He does have tiny hut, which you don't traditionally associate to druids, but people can learn spells. That's simple. People can pick up some ritual spells along the way. That's not unheard of to you. What do you want to do?
While scrying, I told Mage na, oh, he's sleeping in a tiny hut. Ah. He looks cute though. While he's sleeping, I'm going to stare at him for a while, but
You stare at the
Priorities,
druid.
dearest sister. Priorities.
Should I?
Priorities.
I mean, if I should I go inside his dream?
Magical effects
Do
cannot
that.
penetrate this tiny
Yun
hut.
nga lang. Yeah. Maybe next time. But yeah, it's weird because everyone can see through his tiny hut. Everyone can see him sleeping inside the tiny hut. Maybe he's a wholesome guy. He's a genuine guy. Maybe.
You'd think that if you had your own residence, the first thing you'd want is privacy. He sounds like an interesting man.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's that confident, like if I were to put my Baroness hat on, like my female thinking hat on, maybe he's that confident. I think we should invite him, don't you?
Yeah, we should.
Alright, thank you,
We
Eida. I
should.
suppose that's everything for now. There's not really much we can do. Trying to take off my earrings and getting ready to go to bed. Well, if you see Lord Bane on the way out, just tell him to casually invite him here. Not
Mm-mm.
tomorrow, of course. Maybe the day after tomorrow. We can revisit it. It's not urgent, but anytime in the next 3 days after the Guildmaster sits tomorrow evening would be nice. We need to see if we can do anything. Ida, one last question. I haven't really had time to go around would you know if we have any kind of basement or spare space, spare dungeon here in the keep?
You do.
I mean, yeah, why? Are you planning on something?
I realized
Are you
the
going
way
to redecorate?
I realized the way I sounded that may have seemed like I asked something unwholesome, but no. Rest assured that I am planning wholesome and productive
What kind of wholesome?
things that will help our noble charges of Frostguard and not starve and freeze to death in the next 4 months. Things that I
Okay.
would imagine a drone would be able to help us with. Don't worry, based on what Tanya morphed into, he's not my type. You can have him if that's what you're concerned about.
Okay.
He's almost double your age, but alright.
I've been looking at.
Okay. Eida goes
Yeah,
back.
just let Lord Bane know to invite him maybe like the day after tomorrow or the day after that, just after the Guildmaster visits, so we can have a word with him too.
Okay. I'm going to relay it to him.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
You leave Maege's chambers and give
Mhm.
Lord Bane the message as he walks back to his
Good
tower.
night, Ida.
Good night, Mage.
You walk and you see a disgruntled and annoyed Tanya just out of the shower, finally cleaned up, heading to her place.
Trying my hair.
Oh, Tanya? I
Yeah?
found something interesting. I mean,
Yeah?
about the orb. Apparently the runes are from the changelings. They made the runes, and then the wood elves probably found out about their technology stuff and use it for their own holy relic. It's weird. I just want
Hold
to.
on, Ada. Checking if it's clear.
No one's here.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It reminds me of you and your clan.
Well, honestly, I've yet to meet any other changelings other than myself, so maybe I can try to look up if there's any information.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, I would also like to see the relic.
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Yeah. So holy
But-
relic.
Maybe tomorrow. Yeah. If you don't mind, I would like to see it tomorrow.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
That would be.
Thanks, Ada.
You're welcome.
Okay. You all take a night's rest.
Drying my hair, actually.
You all take a night's rest. Get some sleep. Early hours of the morning. The first thing that happens is Bane Bane just knocks on Maege's door as Maege, you have just awakened about the last 5 minutes. Baroness, I'm only here to inform you that I shall be taking that morning walk now.
Thank you, Lord Bane. Take care of yourself and don't strain your back on the way out.
Of course. Kind of leaves. The next thing is Maege kind of prepares, gets preparations done. Maege has left his Marcus Bane has left his apprentice Arcanist in case you need anything. But Eida, you are as you leave your room, Rosanna, your protege and co-mage around here, co-arcanist, just looks with Rosanna with her regular blindfold and her familiar that she sees through a raven perched on her shoulder and elegant red dress moves forward. Lady, I and Celestine have information for you regarding that curious item. if you would please accompany me.
Do tell. I'm going to accompany her.
Shall we walk and talk to the arcane room, please? Follow me.
Okay.
Move through. Do you call Tanya?
I'm going to call Tanya too.
Tanya, you are awakened and not accustomed to being awakened this early.
Tanya,
Yeah, I'm awake.
you should join us. We're going to, like, get to know more about that orb thing we found yesterday.
Yeah, I'll be right there. I'm just gonna grab a robe.
Okay.
A cloak, actually. Just throw
Okay.
it on.
Alright. Throw it on. Rosanna, the blind mage, leads you to the arcane room as Mage prepares to prepares for the arrival of the Guildmaster. So, Tanya, you are brought into the arcane studies room where Celestine is staying, currently guarding this golden sphere that you saw the previous day. And you see the rune that they were talking about. Suppose make an Arcana roll? Do you have any?
I ran out of luck. I only have 9.
Minimum of a 10.
I'm not proficient in Arcana.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, 9. You don't recognize it.
Oh, can I roll for port?
Portent? Go ahead. Roll your portent. It's a little late for that now.
I'm sorry. Oh my. Oh, that's nice. I'm going
Keep on
to
the numbers?
Yeah, I'm going to keep on the numbers.
So, you see Rosanna kind of leading you. This is indeed created by the Wood Elves. We're not sure which branch or how long ago, but it was created by them. And, well, the runes are belonging to the long-gone Changeling Kingdom. It was their own developed form of magic. As to how the Wood Elves came across it, I assume that they had taken this information from everywhere else. Given that the High Elves have kept records, my best estimate is that some Wood Elf slaves may have taken upon themselves to take this from the High Elf Kingdom upon their escape.
Oh.
The runes, not the orb, and then likely built the orb around the runes. He just looks at, he just kind of looks at Celestine. Yes, my ladies, the orb itself seems to be, curiously enough, a pocket to. It serves a function similar to a portal. It seems that this orb has connections to different areas of Spyre, all over. This particular rune itself leads us to the fallen Changeling Kingdom, the ruins.
Oh my gosh.
I am uncertain as to why this exists, but that is its purpose from what I can decipher, and it seems to be similar to a puzzle piece. Every turn of the wheel, every different access gives us a different location. I have not been able to decipher any more locations as of yet, but given a little more time, I should be able to.
Is it a one-way trip, or...?
As long as you carry the orb with you, you should be able to grant it back from what I can tell.
Alright.
We will continue to research this, of course, but that is as much as we know right now. Also, if it's a point of curiosity, there's a function of it that doesn't just open a portal, but it also opens... Well, it might be a portal, but smaller. You see this thing just dumps a lump of steel.
Oh.
I have no explanation. We are still studying. However, the steel would be put to good use. I shall give it to the blacksmith, but we shall keep researching on this.
I'm going to place my finger on the steel and use legend lore because I'm very curious about how, where it came from.
It is a lump of steel.
Oh.
It's just a lump of steel. There's nothing special about it. Do you get anything? It's not of legendary information. It's not of legendary importance, so you get no information. It's just a lump of steel that just dunk in front of you.
So it can produce steel?
My assumption is that the portal can be minimized and gather materials from a different place. The Changeling Kingdom does have quite a lot of steel there. Perhaps it was just gathered from one of their fallen mines. I must continue research to find out more, but that is my guess.
Interesting. I'm going to tell Maege about it.
Yes, you tell the Baroness we will continue our research. Rosanna just kind of moves forward. I will continue the research. Celestine, you still have to do... We still have some injured soldiers. Of course. Nods. My ladies, I must get back to work. Rosanna, if you require any assistance, I will call you. Celestine leaves and Rosanna just kind of keeps looking at it. The bird now flies and just kind of lands. Bird just pecks on it, nothing happens. Well, my ladies, that is all the information we have. If you wish to come by another day, perhaps we might have more.
Thank you for your hard work.
Of course, my lady. Guys, leave. Maege, any preparations you need to make before the Baron arrives?
Not much, just to make sure that, there's a little food, a little wine.
Yeah.
She will... We're playing on behalf of Tristan, right? She will just make sure that all of the guards are properly dressed in...
They are, in their formal... the formal uniforms, yeah.
Yeah, like all of the banners are dusted off. Yeah. Other than that, I don't suppose there's much to do. I don't know, like pick a nice corset for later. So
okay.
Fit well, I guess. Yeah.
Anyone else has anything to do before the Baron arrives? Sorry, the Guildmaster arrives.
I'm guessing we should tell Maege about this?
Yeah, we should. I mean, it's an important relic. It can make portals. It can poop steel. Yeah, you would
Very
love
apt
that.
explanation, yeah. Let's go bother Maege.
Okay. I will say, for the sake of revenge, that you knock on Mage's door just as she's trying on another corset.
Maege!
Maege!
What do you
Maege!
want? What do you want? I'm preparing for
We
later.
found something.
We're coming in!
You guys come.
Maege!
I'm mid corset.
No, you can't. We cannot wait, Maege. You can fix the corset after we're done talking, Maege. I'm saying as well, make sure no one's around. Just make
No
sure
one.
no one's hearing us.
No one. But you guys enter.
Guard. All right. Maege is still trying to get the knots on the back.
You need help?
Say you may speak. I do not need help, thank you. I can fit into my own corsets. Thank you very much.
About. I mean, I'm sorry. What?
I would say you may speak freely, and while I half-key resent that statement, you may speak freely. What is it?
So about the orb, it can
Yes,
open a
the orb.
portal. It can open a portal to the Changeling Kingdom.
And other locations, depending on where the puzzle is.
Yeah, and other locations depending on how you make a puzzle of it. And then Okay, it poops steel.
Sounds weird, but
It can
it's
poop
exactly what she
steel.
said.
Poops steel.
Steel came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Um,
Mage,
you
insight check.
Sanity check.
read check.
Wrong game.
Uh, insight check. 20 plus 5.
Okay,
5.
5. You would recall that ores and other such materials, high quality ones, are a little rare in Azram. There are no mines around here. Steel is not that it's in short supply, but it's rather expensive.
I have a crazy idea, girl.
What is it?
Do we have any indicator as to how much ore this orb would be able to
Defecate?
to be scientific, poop out?
According to
Honestly.
Eida, according to Celestine, it seems to be taking the steel from the portal that leads to the Changeling Kingdom. What she meant was that each portal that you open can also open a smaller portal that accesses materials from wherever the larger portal goes to. And the Changeling Kingdom was right next to a huge steel mine.
I mean, they told me that they can open a small portal that's connected to a steel mine near the Changeling Kingdom. So that means we have like a huge amount of um number of steels that we can use for our advantage.
Would I be a dumb broad for assuming that there would be other resources other than steel in this changeling kingdom if we
History
explored?
check. All 3 of you.
Mm. 18.
Yeah, I'm stupid.
Ida, what's yours?
18.
Mage?
Yeah, I'm a dumb broad. 8.
Okay, so Mage
Smarter
doesn't
than
know
I am,
much
so.
of the kingdoms. Tanya, despite this being your literal history, knows crap.
What?
Um,
I don't study.
Ida, you remember readings
Mage
upon the Changeling Kingdom. They were next to a
kept
steel
telling you
mine.
that.
They were next to a steel mine. However, they were also situated right behind a large mountain that was known to have magical properties. No
Oh.
other ore material that you know of, however, a mountain with magical properties could be home to something, well, magical if you decide to explore it.
Good news though. There's like a nearby mountain the on the Changing Kingdom. It has all the magic properties we need to make something out of it. Isn't it exciting?
It's exciting, but you know how it is, dear sister. I mean, I'm a warlock, you're a wizard. Whenever you jump through portals that take you across oceans, there are bad things there. I do have a question though. Were any of you able to check if it's warmer over there?
Warmer,
we
yes.
Oh,
Based on the
Yes.
just based on the location of the map, warmer, not warm.
okay.
Fair.
Mm.
Physical properties. Metals. Metals. Metals, I think I have an idea. I think it's my turn to visit the village. Of course, you will be coming along with me. We need to pay our loyal charges of Frost Garden a visit, but what I'm thinking is I'll just sit. I'll just sit myself down in my bed, a la slumber party. Like what I was thinking was this could be a job opportunity for our charges, for our serfs.
Oh.
We can tell them that they can mine, and for every 10 portions of steel that they mine, we just tax them 5, and they can keep the other 5. That's metal. That's
Yeah.
quite precious. But we don't tax them for the metal. Tax them on the earnings from the metal, and the rest of that they can keep to however they so wish. And if they earn enough, Lord Bane, where is that? Ah, he's on walk, isn't he?
Should I
Ah.
send him a message?
No, it's fine. Leave the old man be. I'm presuming that between the 3 of us, we have enough clerical and managerial skills to kind of work it out. If the people of Frost Garden make enough, do you think we can lower taxes to make living here a little more attractive? I worked that out.
There's no politics check for this, so let's call it just straight up wisdom.
All of us?
All of you can make one.
Okay.
Oh,
Wisdom?
Yep.
I got
Just
a
the wisdom.
16.
15,
17.
17. Age?
13 plus 5, 19.
19. Okay. All 3 of you cohesively come up with one idea. If you can provide less taxes and somehow a source of food, people would probably be living in those lands because the alternative is getting shanked by a steel blade for speaking out.
We're quite uncivilized in the other parts of the kingdom, so I'm guessing we could pitch them the offer and they would generally be interested. Squinting, guys, input.
I mean, it's good and all, but if the guilds find out about that item that is apparently elven in nature in our hands, it might raise a few flags.
If I can
We're gonna have to
cast
explain at some point where we're getting the steel.
It's a good one. What are you saying, Eida?
Eida? Eida? I think he's fixing something.
Eida. She muted.
Eida's
Oh.
locked out. He's fixing her mic.
Here.
Right. Wonder if we could do it. Because that does raise a good point, though, Tanya. We need to explain where it all came. Oh, I have an idea. Oh my god! Remember those caverns close to the keep?
Yes?
Let's say we get him from there. No one in their right mind would go down there and check.
That's true, but I'm guessing there are no geographical records whether or not there's steel on there, right? Because no one really knows what's down there. Like,
I dare them to
literally no
check.
records.
I dare them to check. We've sent knights down there and they never came back. And even father, tough as nails as he is, told us never to go down there. So
That's true.
suppose access to the portal would only have to be done here within the keep. We could keep it open or open it from time to time just so we can regulate who goes in or out so there's no open portal in broad daylight.
Would that actually work?
Could be done, I guess. Although would feel more, it would have more peace of mind if we at least sent some sort of expedition through to the other side first, just to see. I mean, this is a portal we're talking about, so it's just best to be cautious. But still, I think in a fortnight we can go to the village and kind of lift their spirits. And besides, I haven't left this keep in a few summers already. You guys can come though, but yeah, I see this as an opportunity, at least for us. Because to be honest, that vineyard isn't doing much for us at this point already. I think we could make more money with this. Of course, we need to study it more as well.
Mm-hmm.
Want me to go with the expedition? It is a changeling kingdom.
3 of you are going on that expedition. I'm not going on that expedition. Me, Portal? Oh, no. That's just not for me. I'll stay here and take care of the house. But at some point, the 3 of you were always the adventurous siblings. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Or just bring big sister back something.
I mean, it is a bit dangerous to bring, like, the 3 of you remaining, surviving Giliaths in a mission. Are you sure you're alright with the 2 of them going with?
I'd feel more safe if the 3 of you stuck together.
Alright.
Dario?
When is this to happen?
Adventure, yes. What?
When is this to happen?
Fortnight. I'd like you to all get rested first. Just do your adventure things. I don't know what that is. Like braid your hair, or, pick your clothes, or I don't know. Adventure things. I don't know. Well, just do what you have to do and just don't get killed on the other side. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm assuming the 2 of you informed Tristan about this. Over the course of the day, you talk it over, prepare. Tristan thinks it wise to bring maybe 2 knights with you. Him, 2 knights, and the 2 of you should be a good enough party since Maege isn't going to take part. To explore the mines of the Changeling Kingdom or the caverns. Because the cavern is the magical one, the mines has steel.
Mines first.
Mines, got it.
Mine.
Okay. So, the day presses on, and you are aware that Lord Castwell, the Guildmaster, is to arrive in about 10 minutes. True enough, as the guards have been informed by Tristan, there is a carriage that comes in. Oddly enough, no guards. Just the one knight that's kind of riding the carriage, and that's it. Your knights let him in. He leaves the carriage in the courtyard. Yes?
Dear sister, where do you want me to be? Seen or unseen? Alright.
He leaves his carriage. He just comes forth, cleaning himself, preparing. His Caswell is well into his mid-50s, but still kind of fit. You see his younger son, the Giliaths, who is just also very fit, a little more green, but still not by any means not in shape. They move in without any armor. They are they're wearing just leather. They're not in their full plate, but they carry their swords with them. So less, not as formal as you expect from Guildmasters, especially one for the Guild of War. They come through as Marcus Bane's assistant leads them to your banquet hall, where the doors open. 4 of you seated, well, the 3 of you. I don't think Tristan's part of court meetings. Correct? Yeah. Okay. The 3 of you sit there. Tristan kind of watches the door as the Lord Commander, nods at him, says, "Baroness and my ladies, thank you for accepting my invitation. May I sit?"
Pleasure is ours, Lord. Pleasure is ours, Lord Castle. Of course, wine.
Yes, please, thank you. His son
Gesture.
also sits down. The squires pour wine for everyone.
Tell us,
Thank
Lord
you.
Castwell. Yeah. Tell us, Lord Castwell, what brings you all the way out here to visit House Giliath?
Yes, first of all, thank you for this, although it was completely unnecessary. You know, my visits, I like to keep it casual. But thank you. Down to business. There have been some talk of dwarvish skirmishes across the border of Azram.
Dwarves.
Yes, however, non-military. Seems the dwarves are digging for something. Collecting things, digging, and going well beyond their borders. We have retaliated. Obviously, trying not to cause too much conflict. However, it's become persistent. I wanted to know if the elves bordering your home have done something similar. Perhaps walking through borders and looking for items, or perhaps even surrendering themselves to your mercy for some reason. Have you any news of that sort of activity?
You got choppy for a bit there. What did you say?
I'm sorry, he just looks and said, have you any news of that of any sort of activity of the elves from the north leaving themselves to your mercy, searching for something beyond their borders? Any sort of activities similar to that nature?
I'm just gonna look at then look at Tanya. The windows, lock the doors.
Okay.
Squire, bring us wine.
Oh,
Keep
Going to
watch.
It'll be
see what
wine
This will
is
be a
provided.
long discussion.
Wine is
Perception check.
provided. Perception, yeah. Passive is enough. No one's there. Other than the gods watching your 29 passive perception.
And then I'm just gonna do very quickly detect magic.
Detect magic. Your sisters, very clearly, their weapons. Get both Castwell's, the father and the son's weapons, as expected, magical, along with the sheaths. No scrying magics or anything that's of the sort around your area.
Just gonna drink wine,
I
chug
think
it
it's
down.
safe now.
Just to, yeah. Thank you. Just to work up the guts. All right, Lord Castwell. I feel like we can be transparent with you, seeing as all the help you've done for us before with our supply lines and whatnot. Thank you for those, by the way.
Of course.
Not a fortnight ago, we found a strange orb relic. I'll just look at Eida. Lord Castwell, it goes without saying that I would ask that you do maintain some secrecy in this matter, as we are still also attempting to do some research and see what we can learn about this relic. We are willing to show it to you, though.
Relic. I believe if you wish for this to remain under the table, that I should not see it. However, do you believe this relic would be of some use to others? Would it be important? I need not details, I need only a yes or no if this relic would be of some import.
This hypothetical relic, for it to actually exist,
Yes.
allows us to access portal to a certain hypothetical ancient changeling kingdom. It does seem to grant us access to resources from the time being. Its exact origins are unknown. I'm just going to look at Eida and Tanya. Did you mention it was changeling or wood elf?
I mean, the runes are connected to the changelings, but the wood elves made it. As in, the wood elves made the orb. They probably
Sure.
know about the existence of their technology. That's why, you know, it happened. The orb thing.
Well, there you have it, Lord Castwell. And also, about a fortnight ago, we also sent out we also sent out one of our knights, Lord Bane. There is news of some unrest among among the elves north of here. We're seeing if we can look into that as well. Although, of course, at the end of the day, Dragonsgrave is sentry post the border of the kingdom, so I suppose there's always going to be news of rest out here.
At the end of the day, Dragonsgrave was given to you as a way to a way for the Guildmasters to wash away any responsibility, and therefore they would not nearly pay attention to as much of what you're doing. Make of that what you will. But if this relic is of importance, you tell me you wish to study it, correct?
We would, but I will be perfectly honest with you, Lord Castle. We don't know how to go about it. My sister, as you can probably estimate, is a very talented wizard. We also have a most talented cleric that serves her family, one of her loyal charges. But there are many questions that come up with relics this old. It if I will recall my sister's the information that my sister shared with me earlier, it's dated Lord Castwell to the first times before the reckoning.
Yes. First of all, I did not hear of this hypothetical relic. That seems like something like that would be ridiculous to exist. Secondly, hypothetically, should something like that exist, I would assume that you are well aware not to inform Lady Fell, the Guild of Mages.
Of course.
And thirdly, I am here to ask information about various races that may be crossing borders. I was not told that I need to report about any sort of magic relics or anything happening, so I could not care less. You do as you please, of course. It's whatever you find in this desolate area that the Guildmasters seem to be fit to give you is yours as Baroness. That is your right. Now, the other thing that I came here for is... Do you know... Let's be frank here. I was a friend of your father's. I was a friend of your family well before you were born, if I recall. We were training in the barracks together. Now, I admired your father. I even gave him the idea of a vineyard. And long after his passing, I agreed to watch over that vineyard. Make sure that while you are here in this, let's face it, backhanded compliment of a reward, someone must watch over the vineyard to make sure it is not taken from your family. I have taken upon myself to repay your father's good deeds towards me by watching for it, for your family. Now, again, to be frank, there's talk amongst the Guildmasters. Then he just looks around. You are certain we can speak freely here?
May Lord Caswell.
Very well.
Can I use my arcane eye just to parang maneuver it around the...
Yeah. You go through, the only thing you notice again is the magic around all of you, their weapons, but this doesn't seem to be any kind of divination going on in this room. But it is kind of peering through, moving around. Well, I shall take you on your word on that, Baroness. There's talk amongst the guilds of how best to handle you. It seems 2 years of surviving in this this frozen wastes is a little longer than they expected for you to falter. You have survived for longer than they expected, and they are not very pleased. I to my best ability, have told them that you will not survive here for much longer and that there's no point in looking into you. But it seems that Phineas Spike of the Shadow Guild, who I believe you're aware acts as the representative of the yet to have been known Guildmaster of the Shadows. It seems that he has taken quite the interest in your family. More specifically, he represents the interests of the unknown Guildmaster of the Shades. And even more specifically, he looks at Tanya. Seems to be taking an unusual interest in you, Miss Tanya. I will not ask questions.
Why?
I will not ask questions. I am merely here to inform you of such matters and developments. I have tried to keep your family as under the radar as possible since your transfer here. But I must warn you, there are limits to what I can do. Very few people look up at the War Guild as anything more than soldiers and bodies to throw at an enemy. But I still do my best. And the last bit of, well, business I have to conclude here. It's more personal than business now that I think about it, but... He looks at his son. His son drops his bag, which is a bag of holding, pulls out a very large case, lays it down, opens it. Inside that case are... inside that case is one long golden scepter. Gold and silver made scepter.
Huh?
This, I'm sure, may not be familiar to you, but your father carried this scepter. He left it to me when they had gone out on their expedition against the dragon. One that I was conveniently set out on the mission and out of the meeting that involved it. But he just goes to the scepter, pulls it out, and there's a long sword underneath it.
Oh.
Shorter than a long sword, but it's in the scepter. I never knew what was about this blade that made it so special. Well, other than the fact that he shows it to you. As you will see, it's made of adamantine. Puts it back in the box, closes it. I was tasked with giving this to you on a very specific day. And today is that day. Your father wanted this given to you. On this day, he did not tell me why. But he mentioned 2 years and 2 weeks, give or take, after his demise, should it happen, that this blade was to be given to his children. As you know, it has been a few months since the anniversary of your father's demise. I present you with this blade. I am not certain as to why he needed this 2 years after, but here it is. In all honesty, this was more of a social visit and an informal meeting. Formally, I am to report if any elves from the northern borders have caused any unrest. That I can answer. As they would expect, you have treated me with sarcasm and did not give me the respect befitting of a guildmaster. As such, I had left before I could gather any more information. Thanks. Well, certainly I've come a long way after 2 years. I will see what I can do about the Guildmasters. Until then, whatever you plan with this relic, with the elves, whatever you are planning, I suggest you keep it very, very low-key. He just finishes. He stands up. If I may take my leave, Baroness, from your hospitable home.
Lord Castro, there is one more thing.
Of course.
Smiling. Would there be any way that my siblings and I would be able to repay you or offer our services in repayment for everything that you've done?
Everything that I have done is in honor of your father and the payment that I am repaying to him. I only regret that I was not able to repay it to him personally. But do not believe for 1 second that you owe me anything, Baroness. This is a debt that has been long overdue. Bows. Should you require anything, however, with the utmost secrecy, you may contact me. Bows, and he takes his leave with his son. They walk out of your chamber. The guards escort them. You have a view of the courtyard from your banquet hall, and he walks back to his carriage to leave at night. Back to the capital. 3 of you are left with Tristan inside.
Eida, can you look at the scepter and the sword inside? See if you can pick up anything from it.
I'm going to take it and use my identify as a ritual cast.
Ritual casting, identify for 11 minutes. Do you, Maege, Tanya, speak to Tristan or anything during those 11 minutes that Eida has to concentrate?
You need to talk to Lord Bane.
That's after then. So she concentrates for 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry.
I'm just gonna look at.
Lord Bane's already back. That's my mistake. He's been back for a while, prepared the preparations. You wish to talk to him while Aida's concentrating.
Yes.
Okay. Bane comes in. Baroness.
I'll just stand up from my seat in the Great Hall. Lord Bane, report.
Some squires come in with a chest of gold. Based on the count from some knight's help, this is about 27,000 gold pieces. We will not have to tax our people for several months. In exchange, the Wood Elves requested for possible aid. This is a down payment. Half. If we agree to house 3 specific Wood Elves within our place, they do not need proper lodging, they do not need comfortable lodging, but they need protection. We agree to do that in secret, without anyone else knowing. We receive another chest of the same amount in jewels.
Protection from who?
Unfortunately, amongst the negotiation, this was for listening to them. Learning about their plight will only come once we've agreed to protect them. I understand that is a most dangerous agreement. However, either way, since we have heard them out, this is ours, as per the agreement. So should you refuse to hear them, well, that's several months our people can rest easy from the taxes.
Eida, Tanya,
Hmm?
see to your old sister and see if we can find some obscure wing in the keep. I will
can
keep
take care of
talking.
that.
I will keep talking to Lord Bane here.
Edith has to concentrate, so Tanya can leave with
Yeah. So
Tanya can leave with
Tanya will
Tristan,
go.
looking for maybe a dungeon that can be repurposed, another wing.
Yeah.
So Edith's still concentrating. Lord Bane moves closer. Baroness.
Did they tell you anything more about these three wood elves they're asking us to house?
Only that they are some form of magicians. Arcane users that request for a home. They would not say more, but they gave their word that no harm or any kind of dubiousness will come to us, that we are allowed to watch them 24 hours a day, that any sign of suspicion they will not they will allow us to execute on sight just on the mere suspicion that they are trying to harm us. They have agreed to all of these terms. As such, the trade-off is that they will only tell us what it is they're hiding from and the purpose of all of this, and why they're willing to pay so much, once we have agreed to it. But they were adamant in making sure that we know that this is not sanctioned by their kingdom of Hazion. As such, they expect our offering them of security not sanctioned by our kingdom as well.
Well, Lord Bane, on any normal day, if I were any rational baroness, I would say no. I'd say that, and I'm sure you'd agree that we're running out of options here, aren't we?
Yes, but also, if I may, Baroness, the Wood Elves already gave up the fact that this is not sanctioned by their kingdom. Should things become dangerous and we wish to remove ourselves from this conflict of whatever they've gotten into, who is to punish us? If their kingdom is unaware, if our kingdom is unaware, who is to punish us for killing 3 elves that happen to be trespassing in our homes?
They'll only make sure that the Shadow Guild or any of the Guildmasters don't find out. And
Precautions
that
will
the
be taken.
Guildmaster of War happened, Lord Bane. And I suppose you can talk to my sister Tanya for the preparations for the 3. I will want to meet them when they get here.
Of course.
Tell our friends, the Wood Elves, that we accept their offer, but I expect to be fully briefed on the nature of these 3 elves. And 27,000 down payment. How many months do you think that would cover?
6 months of taxes. Over a year, if we continue to tax. Several. We can even afford food that they overprice us in Azram, if that is your decision. Also, I was able to negotiate one other thing. And I believe you might like this. I was saving it for last. On top of another 27,000 in precious jewels and stones, they have promised 20 boars. Winter boars. Of a mix of male and female. I presume this money is enough to renovate ourselves a sizable pen livable for boars specific to the winter?
Would work, yes. That would be great. These. If there's one thing I know nothing about, Lord Bane, it is agriculture. There's something I need to ask you. Would these winterborn survive in Frost Garden? Conditions out there.
The conditions in Hazion are much harsher were it not for the wood elf magics that they use. If the winter boar is a native to that land, I would presume that yes, they would be able to survive further down south to Frost Garden, but we will have to spend a significant amount of this money to cultivate a land for them to stay in. They may be accustomed to the cold, but they still require maintenance.
The 27,000, how much would you need for this to happen?
By my estimate, 15,000, it should be self-sustaining.
1,000. That leaves us with 12,000. Of that 12,000, we'll keep 6,000 that will go into the keep's coffers.
And the other 6?
Half, and the other 6 will be used. 3 months of taxation to Frost Garden with 6,000 gold pieces cover.
I would say perhaps 3 months, possibly.
$6,000. What about 5,000? Months, more or less?
More or less, just under 3 months.
Maege, I'll just smile. The 1,000 will be split between yourself, Lord Bane, the assistants, and all of the loyal knights of House Giliath. That is my gift to you. The remaining 5,000 will go Frost Garden. The remaining 1,000 you may split however you seem fit. But consider that my little gift for your little expedition to the north here. You may do as you see fit. Share it with the rest of the retainers if you wish.
Quite a generous gift for an old man taking a walk, but thank you, Baroness. Also, the Wood Elves are waiting for a response that I can send via Raven. Should I send it tonight? They will arrive tomorrow noon. Shall I send them the response?
You may, Lord Bane, yes. And
Very
also, prepare me a horse and a retinue of knights. Ride for Frost Garden at dawn.
Of course. Nods.
And if you run into Tanya, if you run into my pesky little sister when she's done finding a dungeon for those 3 elves, there's something I need to speak to her about.
I shall inform.
And don't forget the druid. Thank you.
Of course. He just takes the coffers. He just gets some of the squires. Says, "Come, squires, we have some money to divide." They leave. As they're leaving, Tanya, you find Bane with 2 squires carrying a chest. He just says, Miss Tanya, milady, the Baroness wishes to speak to you about some matter of import.
Alright. Well, better then.
Nods. You see you can hear the chest of gold as the squires move.
Right.
Oh,
Now on to Eida.
just trailing it with my eyes.
So as Tanya makes his way back, Eida, you've cast Identify on the sword.
Yeah.
Your father called it Frostborn. This is made of adamantine, which is a very, very, very expensive metal. But it wasn't just adamantine. This is a very manipulated and mystically charged adamantine, charged by the breath of a white dragon, turning it into something different, a yet to be named steel, because who in their right mind would go to a white dragon to freeze up some steel? But it's been breathed on by an icy white dragon. The sword is about 1.5 feet long, not very long.
Okay.
It has mystic properties. It is, for the purposes of this, short sword damage. It's a +1. But the special property of his sword, the Frostborn, is that it is a key. When it's in the sheath, this scepter-like thing is able to open a portal to the astral plane for some reason.
What?
With the identify spell, you are aware of the incantation required to activate it, but it opens up the astral plane. The purpose, you are not sure.
Mage? This is interesting. So it has a name. Father called it Frostborn, and it's imbued with white dragon magic, and it can open a portal to the astral plane. It's a
Rolling
key
my eyes.
to the astral.
Of course. It sends us somewhere very dangerous and very killy again, doesn't it?
The astral sea is
plane.
the graveyard of the gods.
What? Suppose what I want to ask my dearest sisters is, what would we want out of the astral plane?
No idea. I don't know why he has a key to the astral plane. Should I look to its legend lore?
That only works if an
You-
item is legendary.
If you could, please.
I mean, father is
It's not
legendary.
That doesn't mean the sword is,
We'll take
but
it to his
okay.
corpse
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the sword is, but okay.
and the body.
Bless us, we do try.
I really want to try legend lore on his sword.
Suppose what I want. I suppose, Eida, what I want to ask is, historically,
Mm-mm.
what need do people have to access the astral plane? Oh, and before you do that, Tanya, there's something else I need.
Tanya, who just arrived.
Mage,
May come in.
Baroness. I'm going to go.
Yes, assassin.
Don't. I'm trying to give out respect. Don't. No one knows that.
No stuff.
So, what do you want from me?
I'll be riding
Oh,
to the village at dawn. I just need you with me to make sure that no one both of you need to be with me. Tristan will stay home to keep watch over the keep, but we will be going to the village at dawn tomorrow. There will be an announcement I'm going to be making. I both need you to make sure that there's no one that no one unwanted is listening, either
Okay.
arcane means or underhanded.
Do you
Then
want me to be, or morphing into someone else?
for all intensive purposes, Tanya, I would prefer that you disappear. If you find anyone affiliated with any guild, anyone who isn't a normal face, either at Dragonsgrave or at Frost Garden, deal with them discreetly for now. I don't need you to kill them. I just need you to not hear anything.
Well, I have a few poisons in my belt. I suppose I can prick them.
No killing just yet, and
It's not deadly.
I suppose that'll do. If anything happens, I suppose you just question them that they weren't supposed to be there. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Alright.
That'll be it for
I
tomorrow.
can travel away from you and then make sure that I'm not affiliated with your group.
Right. That works too. That's actually smarter. Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay. Eida, make an Arcana roll.
Okay. I got the dirty 20.
Best kind.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You get it 20. One, the astral plane's primary purpose to anyone of any other plane is a shortcut. You can open the portal to the astral plane, and you can open the portal somewhere else, and you can get somewhere across the world very easily.
Mhm.
Two, the astral plane is home to a race of greenish humanoid people known as the Githyankai.
Mhm.
They are friends to dragons.
Oh.
Oh,
Or
Way to relay
they
it
have
to
alliances to dragons.
Mage. Way to relay it to Mage.
Which color though?
Depends on the
Oh, wait,
Githyankai.
what? Oh. Huh.
The last one is that related to that is that the astral plane is also home to, aside from dead gods, astral dreadnoughts, which are known to carry inaccessible portals inside their bodies. So the uses of this, you're not sure. Why your father needed this, you're also not sure. And why it was given to you today of all days, you are still not sure.
Yeah,
So many
going to
questions.
tell them all to Mage.
Okay.
Mage?
huh?
When are we supposed to meet with the druid?
He just left, so it should be tomorrow, actually.
And when are we meeting? When are we gonna go to Frost Garden?
You know what? You know what? I changed my mind. We're not going to the Frost Garden. You mentioned, dearest sister, that this mage has become sort of a folk hero on Frost Garden, right?
The druid? Everyone looks up to him.
I suppose we can just dispense with the formal visit to Frost Garden and we can just speak through him. I just had an idea. If 3/4, about 50 retainers of House Giliath rides out to Frost Garden, the Guildmasters are sure to take note of that. However, if we maintain one discreet spokesperson, it would be a lot easier for us to communicate with the people of Frost Garden. What are your thoughts?
If he's willing to represent it, I mean, he's just a traveler.
Make use of him while he's here. If he decides to stay, even better. But now that I think about it, it would be, given the advice from the Guild Master of War, it would seem to me the wiser option for us to err on the side of discretion for now, at least. At least while we're sure. At least while we command no clout amongst the guilds, we can't. He did mention earlier that the guilds were looking for a way to expedite getting rid of us. So, on second thought, we'll just do it. I will propose that we do it through the druid tomorrow. Is there anything else you
As
need to
long
tell
as he
us
can
about
be-
the druid?
As long as he can be trusted. He's his own agency. I don't think he wants to represent the Frost Garden. He's just there because, well, apparently the deity is telling him that there's something he needs to do there. He says he's gonna leave as soon as the deity tells him that there's something else to do in another place.
If he's trying to do goodwill while he's here, we'll give him more reason to do that. And it just seems awfully convenient, like all of these things that are happening: the relic, the deity, the sword, the druid. So let's see. Maybe I do fancy a visit to the temple soon, Eida. Shrug it.
Please don't force us to go to temples, though. That's just too taxing.
If there is a if There is a temple dedicated to gods who are the patrons of handsome men. I'd go to a temple like that, wouldn't all of you? Right?
No.
I mean, if they have potential.
Well, yes, Tanya, you're a kid, but when you come of age and when you grow in the
I'm
right
8.
places, you grow in the right places, like me and Eida, you will
I
understand.
can make it grow.
Sure.
Oh.
Shut up. I'm trying my best already.
You'll grow. But thanks to those winter bowers, maybe there's something that would come of it.
God.
For now, I suggest we wait for that druid to come.
Alright.
Okay.
So, rest of this day, after Bane's visit, you all take your rests, go to sleep. In the morning, as you have awakened,
time.
in the morning as
Think
you
of
have
it as a
awakened,
rouse check.
and as you have prepared, the druid is already on his way, walking, well, on a horse, traveling. The knight informs you, Baroness, the druid from Frostgarden is here. That we let him in. Fairly early, just about sunrise.
I'm in.
Very well.
Baroness, seen or unseen?
All right.
Oh,
Scene. Although your call if you want to introduce yourself to him formally. Suppose if we're trying to get on his good side, we would want to admit that there was a bit of sneaking around just to figure out who he was.
I mean, Tristan was there. We could just say that Tristan was the one who found out about the information.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna tell a stranger that I'm a changeling.
okay.
That works too. Then in that case, your sister disappear.
I can morph into that girl. Kayla,
Right.
the one that talked with him. Just say that I was originally looking for your place and I found myself here in the throne room. It doesn't really make sense.
You could
Yeah,
say that
vanish.
you are my. You could say. All right. Okay. I was about to suggest that you could be my cupbearer, but.
I can. Done
Right.
it before.
I personally wouldn't mind if you did it more, but I digress. Bring the
I am
druid
not
in.
going to be your cupbearer for the rest of our lives. I have my responsibilities.
I'm
going
going
to
to
grab
use
a cup.
prestidigitation at myself to make myself smell better.
Turn
Okay.
on my beloved Baroness.
There is a knock. The knight opens it. He walks in, cleaned up, well shaved, moves in, handsome for a guy in his early 40s or late 30s. He's kind of moving through. Baroness, I was told that you wanted to see me. Baroness is
I'm
the title, correct? I am not from these lands. I'm not aware of the customs you share. I apologize. Baroness is the correct title to address you by? Yes?
We can dispense with the we can dispense with the formalities. Please. Out of lack of a better term, at ease. You may relax yourself.
Very well. He just sits down. To what can I do? What do I owe this invite?
It has come to our attention that you have been doing a lot of good work over in Frostgarden. First of all, I just wanted to say that as the liege of these lands, I appreciate it.
I would not call it good work. I am barely able to make a difference, but try to help the people I encounter.
That you aren't from these lands. Would you care indulging a local liege as to tell us your story?
Certainly. I hail from, well, you would believe it, I don't even hail from the continent. I have been traveling for years now. under the all-watching eye of the All-Mother. Traveling from place to place. I come from Averin, the continent of Averin. I found my way here. Originally, I found myself going to the Cursed Caldera in the west of here. The Cursed Caldera being a sort of caldera-like area between the Iceshard Mountains, where supposedly a dwarf lives who kind of forges weapons.
Okay.
I made my way there. I met some friendly people, some dwarves and their young child. In any case, I have traveled, gone around, place to place, following, as odd as it may sound, visions from the All-Mother, doing good where I am, and those visions led me here. I have visited the second human kingdom I visited here. Thank you for being hospitable. I have come across the High Elf Kingdom and found myself quickly needing an escape. I must say, the other towns, although better off in terms of landscape, are much more disagreeable in terms of laws and restrictions. That's about it. I wish I could tell you what I am here for, but the only visions I received were of an icy mountain that resembles the one to the west of your citadel, actually.
As an outsider who's been trying to make a difference, if you will allow me to use that term, Lord, I didn't catch your name.
Alden, but I'm no lord. You may just call me Alden.
Very well then, Sir Alden. Someone who's tried to make a difference, what feedback would you have for me as Liege of Frostgarden? What would you say are the things that hypothetically you would require, to use your term, to make a difference to the people of Frostgarden?
Honestly, I try not to judge rulers who are put in a difficult situation. You are in frozen lands that can barely contain life. I do not know what you could do for them, but perhaps if you could find some of the winter boars that are near extinct, that might help. Some elk that are known to live in the colder winter nights. You would find them further north, although from what I gather, this continent, the kingdoms are not very at ease with each other, unlike in Averin, where there is relative peace is also not the right word, as there is a current ongoing war. I would suggest you focus on perhaps creating a pen or a livestock, those that flourish in the winter, but that would require you heading further north. Elk, boar, deer, those that of the winter variety would be further up the north, or from what I gather, eastwards towards the frozen wastelands. Closer to that, but you would have to traverse many, many fields of uneasy kingdoms to get there. So I would suggest perhaps the north, if you can find some way to be amicable with the elves.
Tell us more about your deity, Sir Alden.
The All-Mother is Release, goddess of wildlife and nature. She's very kind, warm, very much cryptic, but as are all the gods after the reckoning. Permission to draw a weapon to present to you.
Of course.
He draws out a green. It's the size of a gladius, but it's green with a silver inlay. She has declared me the guardian of this divine weapon.
Oh, impressive.
The weapon is quite powerful. I will not lie, it has the ability to transform people permanently on command. It can shatter souls, should I wish it, and it can also breed life to a limited extent. Not enough to give your frozen wasteland a revival, but perhaps a few vegetations here and there, and I'm not sure how you'll maintain it, but I suppose it's one of those give a man a fish, teach a man a fish things. What's the sword back?
I understand, Sir Alban. That being the case, I'm gonna think about this for a bit. How would you respond if I were to hypothetically propose that I would be willing to help you make a difference? You seem to be aware of the more intricate political dynamic that my sisters and my brother and I face. The reasons why we were thrown out here, I'm sure you are no longer a stranger to the circumstances. It would be quite dangerous for us to venture out at the moment.
I have heard rumors. I'll be very frank with you, my lady. I am here under the service of the All-Mother. Should I be told to move elsewhere, I will have to move. But for as long as I am here, if you give me resources, I'm sure I can put them to use. Help your people in Frostgarden.
Well then, Sir Alden. As it were, we do have a way of procuring 20 winter boars. We were thinking of as the lieges of Frostgarden, we were thinking of donating these to the village as a source of food. We do have the necessary money for them to put up the supplies, enough to make a self-sustaining pen, run a small operation for the village.
There are quite a few carpenters in your village. Should you provide them the money, they would provide the labor and give themselves a boost in their own economy. The pen would not take that long to build, perhaps a few weeks, given if all of them help. If I were to distribute the money amongst the town, I'm sure all of them will lend a hand, making the pen faster. Some supplies gathered from the capital, feed for the boars, and there will still be a breeding period, of course. We cannot slaughter all of them, but as they breed, it may take a while, but it will service them. That seems to be doable. I could perhaps provide them food in the interim as they breed the boars and start to get an economy going before they start actually feasting on them. Yes, I suppose I could do that. If you have the resources, I can provide assistance, lead them, guide them.
Teach them? Teach them how to
of course.
At least fend for themselves out there.
In all
As
honesty,
it were,
yes.
As it were, I have just given 15,000 gold pieces worth to Sir Marcus Bane, also archivist. This is funding that was meant to help kickstart this farming operation for the winter boars for the people of Frostgarden. You may use that 15,000 as you please, as you deem fit.
All the supplies other than the feed for the boars should be available to the people. I'm sure they will appreciate it. Yes, I can arrange for that to be distributed accordingly.
In the meantime, also, I'm just gonna look at my sisters. I know I've been paddling about with this, but I think it's time that for the second announcement.
He just looks at Kayla and says, the young girl. Good to see you again. Quite a long way you've traveled.
I'm just like, because my Baroness is right next to me, so I'm just mouthing my response.
Just nods.
Yeah,
Okay.
shrink back.
Go on, Mage.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Sir Alden. I believe that will be all for now. You did mention elk also, however. I will be certain to make note of that. I understand that you have your vows to the All-Mother. I will certainly not get in the way between you and your faith. However, I will appreciate a little bit of your assistance or a little bit of your cooperation during your stay here. In exchange, I am more than willing to help you make your difference. To help you make a difference, and as it were, how would I frame it? To care for the wilderness here in the north during your brief stay.
Of course. I'm happy to help where I am. I suppose I must travel with the money, give them to the people. When are the boars expected to arrive such that I may inform them?
I would imagine you would have about a fortnight, about 3 to 4 days, about 3 to 4 sunrises to prepare the pen. By the time the boars get here.
Rudimentary pen shall be doable, yes. That is all. I shall get to work.
There is
Going
one
to
more
need to
favor,
make-
Sir Alden. At midnight tonight, I will just ask you to gather discreetly, of course. I'm sure you understand my position. Discreetly, the heads of every the head of every household of Frost Garden. By the fire, City Plaza.
Very well. Shall be done.
Thank
Just
you.
nods. Baroness, if I may, take my leave.
You may. Good day, Sir Alden.
Good day. He leaves. As the three of you are left, almost immediately, Bane just knocks on the door. Baroness, the
Morphing back.
elves
Hiding
have,
and morphing back.
the
Actually, I'm
elves.
just gonna hide.
Okay.
Sorry.
The elves have confirmed their impending arrival. They shall be here by noon. Along with the other half of the payment in gems, 20
Ooh.
boars, and an explanation, as I gather.
Was fast.
They are also willing to subject themselves to any proof spells you wish to impose on them.
Today's getting more and more interesting. Very well, Lord. Very well, Lord Bane. See that the necessary preparations are made.
Yes, of course. He leaves.
All right, my dearest sisters. So we have a lot of work to do. Oh man. So to be perfectly transparent with you, I want the announcement that Frost Garden is going to be tax free to come from us personally. You, just the three of us girls will ride out. Right? We'll meet discreetly in the town of Frost Garden. Make the announcement ourselves personally. I know it's dangerous for us to go out, but as lieges, it is important that the people of Frost Garden feel our presence. I'm sure they would appreciate that.
Do you want me to ride in first? So
At the
that
end
I
of the
won't be
day, we are
associated
still, we are still the owner of these lands. So I suppose it would just reflect well on us if we took care of our charges too, or at least put up appearances. Okay, so that leaves the elves. How much more time do we have until they get here?
4 hours.
Excuse me, you may both do whatever you want. I will bathe.
Okay.
Mage, do I ride first before you guys get there so I can survey?
Mage.
Yep. Sorry.
Did she hear me?
Tanya was asking if she rides first. Survey.
Yes, you do. I will ride with Eida disguised and with haste.
Alright.
We'll just have like fur coats on. Like I'm not going to go there looking like a baroness. I'm going to change.
Oh, shucks. I wouldn't want to see that.
Being the case, we can fast forward if you guys like to the elves. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So, the elves arrive in your home. The knights allow them entry to your banquet hall. 3 beautiful elven women standing there. Just move forward. Lord or Lady Giliath, or I apologize, we're not aware of your customs, of what you are to be called. How would you like to be addressed?
I suppose Lady Maege would suffice.
Lady Maege.
I'm just going to stand up,
Yep.
stand up briefly, bow, and then sit and then sit down again.
The older one just kind of nods. Lady Maege, we are sisters. We have come here seeking your protection. We have, of course, brought our end of the agreement. The sisters kind of float down a chest, rubies, emeralds, onyx, the 27,000 gold pieces worth of gems that they had previously promised you. She looks at you and says, I am the eldest, and my name is Brizane. Brizane. This one
Okay.
is the middle child. Her name is Kaivara. Kaivara. And this one,
Okay.
our youngest, and the reason we require protection. Her name is just looks at the girl. I'm sorry, the girl just kind of steps forward before she finishes. And says, my name is Vayir. Vayir.
Right here. Okay.
She looks young from a human standpoint, so from an elven standpoint, that's really young. The nature of our troubles is that there are a group of night hags that are looking for us, specifically young Vayir. She is a woman of incredible magical potential and ability, and they look to exploit that. They've chased us all over the kingdom. As such, we have taken all of our noble houses' earnings, belongings, liquidated, as you might put it in your common tongue, and sold off everything for gold pieces that we might find one who is willing to shelter us. We need not bother you with this, night hags. We just need a place where we can practice defensive magics to protect ourselves, as we can protect ourselves from their scryings, but not the elements outside. If you require us to work or do anything, if you require us to be under supervision or locked in keys, whatever you might need, we are willing to comply. Just need a place to stay safe from the elements where we can practice our magics to protect ourselves from the night hags. As you might imagine, it is difficult to protect ourselves from their magics at the same time battling night wolves and giant monsters and the cold itself.
I can't help but smile. Very well then, Lady. What's your name? Sorry, the one who's talking, the leader.
Brizane,
right?
Brizane.
Lady Brizane, right? Very well then, Lady Brizane. As we have stated in our messenger raven, we do accept your terms. We can provide shelter here. Although I'm not sure. I'm just going to look at Eida and at Tanya. I'm not sure what a night hag is. I'm sure that I can learn by sundown.
If I may use some magics to show you.
Oh.
If you will allow, of course.
I will. Yes,
He,
please.
he starts casting basically a major illusion, just for a full grand scale. You see this ugly, disgusting kind of old woman figure with a large hooked nose. The fingers are longer than the palms she would allow, with nails that are growing with undergrowth beneath them and kind of mushrooms that are sticking out of their skin, missing teeth
Oh.
everywhere, a large forked tongue just sticking out in disgusting garbs that already have fungi growing off of the cloaks and various ripped apart tunics and sort of greenish skin with a large mole that's sort of moving as if it was alive. And they're just kind of super
Oh.
hunched like Quasimodo, just kind of with a large grin that reaches ear to ear with these blank teeth and missing and sharpened. Whatever teeth is left is sharpened. This is a night hag. They are powerful witches. Excessively so. They are capable of granting wishes, but they always come with a terrible price. We will promise you with our lives that we will not risk yours to protect us from them. We need a safe place so that we may put up our own protection magic. Then we shall be fine. And of course, this is temporary until we can find a place to get to where we will not be hunted by them. Young Vair she is 17 by your human years, which is already considered barely a child by elven standards. We worry for her safety. We are the all that's left of our family. Our parents have been slain. The rest of our family has been hunted down by the hags. In the night, unassumingly, we have escaped from our place, gathering all that we could, offering them to you. Admittedly, the boars were stolen from a noble, but they will not miss them. Should you require any arcane assistance or perhaps understanding of elven magic, we are more than happy to provide knowledge. Whatever we can do to help.
Do you know about agriculture? Or at least arcana in the way of agriculture? As you see, the lands here are quite barren, and if there was any assistance I could rent, I would ask for it would definitely be to help with the plight of the little human community all the way up here in the north.
I would not presume to ask you for resources. However, there is Kaivara, our middle child, is a very talented enchantress. If you were to provide her the materials necessary and some gold and of course some leeway for trial and error, she has done so in our home in the north, where we contain this one spell inside a sort of something to maintain the magic, and it acts as daylight, and with that you are able to make a small room flourish with produce, as your tongue might say. And as long as you keep the produce indoors and away from the outside cold, this spell will act as the daylight. Of course, you will need people to water it and take care of it, but as far as the sunlight, it is essentially artificial sunlight. The larger the field that you will require, the more materials we will need. As I told you, this is everything we have, and we have nothing more to offer. But if you are giving us materials, we are more than happy to do this for you.
I'm just going to look at Eida. Well, this seems like your field of expertise. These seem like your people, dearest sister. Spellcasters and whatnot, arcana. I'm sure we'll all get along swimmingly. But as far as I'm concerned, Lady Brizane, you are welcome. My other sister Tanya will show you to your quarters.
Thank you, you are most gracious. Would you like us to leave the gems here, or would you like us to bring it somewhere, or to someone?
You may leave them with my You may leave them with my archivist, Sir Marcus Payne. We'll see to it that those are counted for.
They just use kind of mage hands and magic to lift it up. Tanya, you lead them to their room. Before that, they hand over all the gems, not taking anything, giving it to Marcus Payne, who takes it and heads over to the coffers, temporarily to place until Mage decides what to do with them. The elves are shown to their room. I will allow Tanya to describe what kind of room you found for them.
A dungeon. I'm kidding.
Ooh.
I suppose like a roomy kind of place, something down in the basement, but not exactly a cell. Just
Can't
proper room in the
hear
basement.
Tanya. Hello?
Maybe you've muted me.
Did you
might
mute
have
her?
Muted me.
I did not know. Wait.
Press my profile.
Oh. Can you try talking again?
Yep. Can you hear
Why
me
do I
now?
not hear anything? Wait.
It's fine. Tanya has found a room, kind of roomy basement floor. More than what they expected. As they start to lay out their beds, they have just sleeping packs. This room is obviously empty and barren. They just lay their sleeping bags, put out some candles, prepare for arcane magics, sealing rituals, to which Rosanna accompanies you to ensure that they are not doing anything harmful, which they are not. This is mostly protection magic, as well as Lehman's tiny hut, just for good measure, and arcane runes that they are putting across the wall to make sure no one else gets affected or found out by the hags. The night goes there.
Gonna tell them that if there's anything you need, just inform us, alright?
Thank you, you're most kind. The night approaches. Bane goes to Maege and said, Baroness, I have secured the boars into a temporary pen. They are to be transported in the next day to Frost Garden. The druid has been informed, and he has already divided up the gold amongst the people who will be aiding in the production of the pen and all the suggestions that I had given him on how to use the money. He has also promised that anything left over, he insisted, be returned here, should they not be used. Everything is moving on accordingly. Rosanna and Celestine continue to research this mysterious arcane orb that has been found, and I believe your sister Eida still holds the scepter of your father. If there's nothing else, I shall leave you to your night.
Suppose the only information I want changed from that, Lord Bane, is if there is anything left over from the 15,000 worth in gold pieces, whatever sum is left, may take half of that sum, distribute it among the knights and bannermen of House Giliath as you seem fit. Another small bonus, since those are hard to come by these days. So that leaves us with more than enough. Feel inclined to share with our charges at the moment. They need all the help they can get. It'll be all, Lord Bane. Jesus, Nigel, what happened to you?
Can't hear you.
Brown out.
This is like
Gotta admit,
This is
I'll do
like
that
a-
in Cthulhu. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be scared this shit.
this is like Jesus Christ, it's like a horror movie waiting to happen.
Yep. We can't
Hear
hear
us,
you, Nige.
Nigel? Can't hear you, but I think you can hear us. There you go.
Oh,
What happened?
yeah.
Might be a rotation thing. Surprised you still have internet though.
Alright, electricity tied up, so we are gonna wrap this up.
OBS. OBS.
Yeah, it's still here. Actually, I
Oh
was,
my.
Nice.
I was planning on wrapping it up anyway. I'm holding a flashlight to my face for a light.
Put it under your face so ano.
So, you all gather for a night's rest, and in the morning, some more issues are about to come across that you will have to solve. And with that, we can end tonight's episode. See you next week.
Woo. Yay.